Hi, my name is Lauryn Menzie and I will be your virtual tour guide today. I'm currently a junior at Eastern studying health sciences and I'm from Danbury, Connecticut. On campus, I'm involved with our pre-health society, student ambassador program, and I also play intramural volleyball. I'm excited to show you around campus today on our guided virtual tour. Let's get started.
So we're starting off our tour making our way over to the admissions office. The great thing about this virtual tour is to definitely give you a chance to see what the outside of campus looks like as well. So when you do get a chance to come in person on campus, you'll kind of be able to navigate your way around. So again, we're starting off right here in the admissions office. This is where you can go for any sort of introduction information that you need on Eastern. So whether it's programs, costs, financial aid, application process, this is definitely your go-to spot. We have the admissions counselors and the student tour guides that are always in the office. And you could always feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email, or even set up an appointment to meet with your specific admissions counselor. This building is located right at the front entrance of campus, so you really can't miss it. If you do get a chance to do an in-person tour, this is probably the building that you would start off your tour in. So we're going to make our way out of here and head over to the library. So right here in the library, as students, we've accessed over 400,000 volumes and more through the interlibrary loan system. So if you're looking for a book and you can't find it right here in this library, we can actually get access to the other Connecticut State University libraries and get the book that you need sent over to Eastern. We also have access to study rooms, so individual study rooms, more for 1 or 2 people. If you know you like to do your homework kind of on your own, in your own space, you could always get a private study room. And then we have group study rooms. And those are for 3 to 14 people, so depending on your group size and which study room that you choose. If you're doing a group project, it's definitely really nice to have that one central location that you guys can meet. Sometimes it can get pretty busy on campus, so to have a spot in the library is definitely very helpful. The library is also open for about 94 hours total per week, so that's until midnight most nights, and then it extends to 1 a.m. during finals week. So now I'll just go floor by floor and show you a little bit about what's on each. So all the way up at the top, that's where we have our archives floor. So a lot of different history collections up there, so whether it's Willimantic history, Connecticut history, or even U.S. history. We also have yearbooks from years ago from Eastern, so if that's something that you also would want to see, that would be up on the 4th floor. And moving down to the 3rd floor, this is actually our designated quiet study floor, so like completely silent. Can't even eat a bag of chips on this floor without getting some sort of stares. So if you really like to do quiet study in like a silent atmosphere, this would definitely be a good floor for you. I know during finals week, this is definitely one of the most popular floors, as you would expect with exams coming up. But yeah, so this is the completely like designated quiet study floor. Now moving down to the 2nd floor, this is more of the, I guess we'd say, lively area. Not as quiet as the 3rd floor, but still as quiet as you would expect a library to be. On this floor is where we have the circulation desk. So that's where you can go to check out any study room key, book, laptop, or course reserve. Course reserves are just textbooks that are on reserve just for specific courses. And then also we have the reference desk. So at the reference desk, that's where you can go. If you're doing any sort of research paper, you'll probably do at least one while you're here at Eastern. At the reference desk, they help you navigate throughout the library and throughout the online library catalog as well. For any sort of help that you need, and then provide you with any sort of like tips, tricks, or tools that you need to actually write your research paper. Also, within the library, as well as in every single building on campus, there is a printer. As students, we get $20 for printing each semester, and it does roll over from semester to semester as well. Amounts to about 400 pages, so in theory you can print a novel. It's not very likely that you will, but if you wanted to, you could. And since it does roll over by the 2nd semester of your freshman year, you'll have a lot of printing funds. Now moving down to the 1st floor, we have our Daily Press Library Cafe. Definitely a hot spot here in the library. This we can go for any sort of meal or snack that you may need. So soups, bagels, teas, coffees, muffins. We also have paninis. The California turkey one is 100% my favorite, so I definitely suggest trying that if you ever get the chance to. This is also a spot that you can go to do any sort of homework or just kind of have a pastime if you have some time in between your classes. The library is located on more of the academic side of campus, so this is definitely a good spot to go to. If you like studying in this kind of environment, I like to compare it to Starbucks, so it's like not too loud, but it's also not too quiet. So if you like that atmosphere, this would definitely be a good spot for you. Also on the first floor, we have the Academic Success Center. So that's where we'll have peer tutors, and they'll help you out with any class that you need help with. So we have the Writing Center as well as the MAC, which is the Math Achievement Center. But we also have specialized tutors for any other course that doesn't necessarily fit into writing or math. So that would be like psychology or chemistry. My biggest regret my freshman year was not using the Academic Success Center. And when I started using it my sophomore year, it took a very large weight off of my shoulders, and it was really nice to have that extra help and resource, especially because it was free of charge. And then the last thing here on the first floor of the library is the Advising Center. So every student will meet with your advisor every single semester. From the first semester of your freshman year, you'll meet both of your advisors. One would be an advisor that's actually a professor within your major, and the other advisor is pretty similar to the guidance counselor that you have in high school. So just a first point of contact. They'll help you with planning for classes for the following semesters, and they also help you create your Eastern and 4 plan, which is basically just the plan that every Eastern student creates that ensures that we graduate on time. So it lays out all of the requirements that you'd have to take with the classes based on your major, or if you're coming in undecided, and then when you do decide to take a major or pick your major, they'll help you add that into your requirements. So we're going to make our way out of here and head over to Constitution Hall. So Constitution is one out of the 6 residential buildings that freshmen get to choose. So only freshmen living in these dorms. 2 of them are suite styles, 4 are traditional styles. And I'll show you what that means. Constitution is one of the suite styles. So you have 2 double bedrooms, you and your roommate in one room, 2 suite mates right next door, shower, bathroom, and vanity that you share with just those 3 other people. So that's what makes it the suite styles, because the bathroom is right inside of your suite, and you only have to share it with those other people. Because the bathroom is within your suite, you and your roommates would be in charge of cleaning it, so you have to be sure that you bring any sort of cleaning supplies and toiletries that you may need. As for what you can bring into your room itself, you can bring a Keurig, a mini fridge, as well as a TV. There is cable television access. The only thing that we ask you don't bring would be a microwave. But there is a microwave provided for you on the common area on every single floor. So this is what the typical common area would look like in Constitution. Really just the living room of the floor where everyone kind of likes to hang out. Your RA, which is your resident assistant, will always do different programs all throughout the semester and throughout the year, so you get to meet everyone. Right here in the common area is actually where I met the best friends I have on campus now, and that I live with now as a junior. I did live in Constitution my freshman year, so everyone just becomes a really, really close family. And then as for the building itself, down on the ground floor is where we have the cardio workout room and the laundry facilities. You do pay for laundry at Eastern, so it's $1.50 to wash and then $1 to dry. And then moving up to the first floor is where we have the game room and the P.O. boxes. Every single residential student will have their own address on campus, so if you're getting anything sent from home or if you're ordering anything online while you're at school, it'll get sent to your building. And then on the 2nd through 5th floors where we have a computer lounge and study room on each of those floors. So any sort of late night homework that you need to do, if the library is already closed, you could always do it right in your building. So now we're going to make our way out of here and head over to Schaefer Hall. So Schaefer is another residential building, but this is actually one for upperclassmen, so sophomores, juniors, and seniors. It's more of a studio/loft style, so when you become an upperclassman, if you're looking for a dorm that will give you a little bit more of your own private space, this may be a good choice for you. So as you can see, we have the kitchen area, the common area right inside of your room, and then right outside that door is where you have the bathroom that you share with one other person next door. There's also a lot of amenities in this building. So this is the cafe within Schaefer. This is where you can go for any sort of meal or snack as well. You don't have to live in Schaefer to go here. If you're just on this side of campus and you want to grab something to eat, you could always come in here. Schaefer is actually the newest renovated dorm that we have on campus, just opened, I believe it was spring of 2019. A lot of students like it because it kind of resembles a hotel just because of the layout, and I think you can definitely see that. There's also the game room. As well as a communal kitchen. Another favorite is the basketball court. So if this is something that you know you'd use pretty often, choosing Schaefer would probably be a good idea. Okay, we're going to make our way out of here and head over towards the science building. So before we head in, I always like to stop on the outside. The science building is a 6-story LEED certified building, which basically means it's very eco-friendly. So if we were taking an in-person tour, we'd walk down this pathway into the doors. On both sides, there's one pond of the walkway. That's actually a part of our bioswale filtering system, so it actually collects the rainwater and recycles it to be reused throughout the building. So again, this is the most eco-friendly building, and that's one of the features that makes it that way. Also, as you can see in the lobby, we have all the windows along the front. That's so we can bring in as much natural light as possible. These lights on the ceilings in the lobby actually have sensors on them, so if it's a really bright day, they won't be on, and as the day starts to dim, they'll start to turn on their own. So it's definitely really cool, so we can use as little energy as possible. Definitely just strengthens Eastern's commitment to being a green campus as well. This is what one of the labs in the science building would look like. Average class size here at Eastern is about 22 students. 99% of our classes are 40 or under, so you definitely get that one-on-one connection with your professor. When they see you around campus, they'll know you on a first-name basis. Also just helps with that transition from high school to college as well, just because you are pretty familiar and pretty comfortable with those class sizes. Also, if you're struggling in a class, you could always meet with your professor because they'll know you personally. Every professor has at least 5 office hours each week, so you could always go to them for any sort of help that you need. There's also ample space in this building for hands-on learning, individual research as well. And every student does take at least one science course. So if you're not into like the typical chemistry or biology course, you could always take astronomy in our planetarium, and you could also take geology if you want to learn about rocks. There's so many different options that you can choose from. Okay, so we're going to make our way out of here and head over to the Fine Arts building. Okay, so this is our Fine Arts building. It's actually the newest built building that we have here on campus, just opened in 2016, and this is where you can go for everything and anything in terms of the arts. It's also just a very beautiful building. So let's start up on our main floor. We have 3 theaters on this floor. This is our studio theater for more of our small-scale intimate performances. Only seats about 125. Sometimes some of our dance teams will even have practices in here as well. And the chairs can be moved to just kind of adjust to whoever's performing. And then next is our proscenium theater. This one seats about 254 for more of our theatrical performances. There's a full height fly tower, legitimate stage. Part of the stage can actually be removed to fit an orchestra as well. I've seen a few shows in here, and I've sat in different spots each time, and I've sat like towards the front, towards the back, and up in the balcony. And it definitely just, regardless of where you're sitting, you still see the stage and still get a great experience, just because of the way that this theater is kind of structured and laid out. And then our last one, this is our concert hall, seats about 400. This is for more of our musical performances. My roommate is actually a part of our female a cappella group on campus, so every semester they always do a different show. And it's always really nice to see like what your friends and your classmates are doing on campus. And all of these shows are free to Eastern students as well, so that's definitely something that a lot of us like to go and watch. And if we take a look up here on the walls, we can see these rectangular panels. It's actually a part of our AV and acoustical systems, so they can actually be shifted and accommodated based on what's going on stage. You may be watching a performance and we're going from one instrument to the next, and the walls start moving, you get really confused. It's just for the acoustics so that the sound can sound really great. And now we have the art gallery. So this is where we'll have student art, faculty art, Sometimes we'll even have local artists to come in and host their work in here and do workshops for the students so they can learn firsthand from another artist. If you take a look over here, you can see these silver rings that are along the floor. The walls actually move along them, so whoever is putting their art in here, they can actually kind of adjust it and really make the art gallery their own. And now moving up to the second floor, this is our performing arts department floor. So this is one of the 2 dance studios. Sometimes we'll have dance classes in here, or if any sort of club wants to put on an event, like I know some clubs will do yoga in here. This is also just a space that's open for students to use if you want to practice for anything. There's a lot of private rooms for space for students all throughout this floor. Also, to be part of any of the shows that the Performing Arts Department puts on, you don't actually have to be a theater major to do that. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you can just join some of the clubs or come up on the second floor every once in a while and see any sort of listings or advertisements as they have for any sort of shows that are coming up. And now moving up to the third floor, this is our art and art history department floor. This is one of the painting studios. We also have drawing studios, printmaking studios, digital art labs, ceramic studios as well. A lot to choose from. Every student does take at least one art class, so there's a lot to choose from, but if you don't see yourself as much of an artiste like I don't, you could always take an art history class, which is what I did, and it was really fun because we got to take a lot of different trips to museums, so you always have a lot of options to choose from. And there's also this outdoor patio area that I just wanted to show. So it's located between the Fine Arts Building and the Student Center. This is sometimes a spot where you see a lot of students hanging out if it's a nice day. So reading a book, listening to music, playing frisbee, eating lunch. Sometimes a lot of events also happen out here. So it's definitely just an area where you'll see a lot of students walking through. And last thing I want to show before we head out of this building. So my favorite class I've taken so far in the Fine Arts Building was actually a piano class, and I took that last semester. So this is actually the exact room that the class was in. So we all had our own personal keyboards, as you can see, and then there were also the headphones and the microphone, and our instructor actually would instruct through that headphone. And if we're doing any sort of personal practice on her keyboard, she actually had like a master switch. So she could flip a certain switch and our headphones would only be connected to our personal keyboard. Or if she wanted us to practice with the entire class and play together, she'd flip another switch and our headphones would connect to every single keyboard in the room. Or if she wanted us to just practice with the person in front of us or just practice with the person next to us. So she could always kind of decide what our headphones would pick up. And that was definitely really nice because going in I was kind of nervous because I knew that I might get a little bit distracted if everyone's playing their music out loud, and I knew I would probably struggle to focus on what I was doing. So it was really nice with the technology that we got that chance to be able to have the headphones and have that kind of technology. So we're making our way into the communication building right now. So this is where we have it's home to our radio station as well as ETV News, that's Eastern Television. Cool thing about those two things is actually club ran, so you don't have to be a communication major at all to take part in it. So if you always want to have your own radio show or podcast, you just have to join the club and then you can still do that. There are general purpose classrooms in this building, not just communication classes. I've had a health class in here. That's one thing that I really like about Easterns. We're not tied down to one building, so you have classes in different buildings in different areas. So it's definitely just nice for a change of scenery, and then also you can see which buildings are your favorite. So after I've taken my art history and my piano class in the Fine Arts Building, I realized that that was my favorite. And I don't think if I didn't get the chance to take those classes, I probably would never have branched out to that building, especially coming in as a science major. I don't think I would have went to the art building, but now it's my favorite building to go to and to study in. Another favorite of the communication building is media services. So if you ever want to check out any sort of multimedia equipment like a camera or a tripod, you can actually check it out for free at media services. So if it's a really nice day out, maybe you and your friends want to take pictures or your club wants to record a video, it's really nice to have that option. Okay, so we're going to head out of here and make our way over to the Sports Center. This is about the halfway point of the tour. So here at Eastern, we are a Division III school with 19 different varsity sports and 5 club sports. Right now we are in our main gym, so as you can see we have 3 full-size basketball courts in here. This is where our home volleyball and basketball games will take place. On the sides right here you can see that this is where our bleachers are, so these bleachers actually come all the way out and they fit the side basketball courts on both of the sides, so you can fit a lot of fans, about 3,000. When it comes to our home games, they're definitely a lot of fun. All sporting events are free to Eastern students as well, so I'm sure if you ask any Eastern student, they'll tell you they like to go to the events. Also inside of here is where we have our intramural games that take place, so that's Eastern students playing Eastern students. The games are late at night after classes, so just a really fun, friendly, light environment. I played intramural volleyball, or I started playing intramural volleyball when I was a freshman. I'd never played volleyball a day in my life, but I wanted to start a team with some of the girls I'd met in my dorm, and then through that we got to meet other people as well. So even though I probably was not the best one on that team, it was still really nice to get a chance to make that team. So down on the first floor is where we have the weight room. Our students and our student athletes make use of the weight room. We also have the racquetball courts. That's also on this floor, the dance studio, as well as the equipment window. So if you need any sort of equipment, like maybe a basketball or volleyball, you didn't bring one from home, you can get it right over there for free. We also have a full-size swimming pool, so as long as our swim team isn't practicing or having a meet, everyone has access to the pool. So if it's after a long day of classes, you could always hang out in here, and then there's also a sauna in each of the locker rooms as well, so definitely a nice way to relax if you need to do that. Then also with our curriculum, everyone takes at least one health and wellness course, and if you don't want to take the typical health class you've probably already taken in high school or in middle school, you could always take an activity course as well. So yoga, Zumba, anything like that you could always take to fulfill that requirement. So we're going to make our way out of here and head over to the Student Center. So right here in the Student Center, definitely the main hub of campus, you'll always see students going in and out of here. So whether they're grabbing something to eat from the food court, doing some homework, or just hanging out with friends. Sometimes I'll see students even taking naps on the couches in there, so everyone's just really comfortable. I always say that if you're bored on campus, definitely just come to the Student Center. You'll always see someone that you know, or there'll be some sort of event going on. Located right by the front entrance is where we have the bookstore. So any sort of Eastern apparel that you need, or snack, drink, or anything else that you may need that's quick, so like a toothbrush or a notebook or a charger, you could always get right in here. You can also buy and rent your textbooks. One cool thing that the bookstore does is price matches with Amazon. So if you look on Amazon and your book is listed at a lower price than what's listed in the bookstore, show proof of that to the cashier in here, and they'll lower and match the price for you. Also affiliated with Barnes & Noble as well. So any sort of Barnes & Noble gift card that you have, you can use it right inside of the bookstore. And then we also have the fitness center. This is typically open as long as the student center is open. So some mornings as early as 7:30, some nights as late as 11 o'clock. And you could always make use of this, as well as the weight room that was in the sports center. And then there's just a couple other spaces I want to show in this building. This is our Student Center Theater. This is where we'll have different movie showings, or if a speaker comes on campus, they may be right in there. This is also just a space that students and faculty have access to checking out. So if you want to have your next club meeting in here, you could always check it out. If you wanted to maybe do an event, you could also do it right in here. Same thing goes with the Betty Tipton room. Again, just an open space that students and faculty members have access to using, and there will always be different events going on in here as well. Also in this building is where most of our clubs have their meetings. So we have 90 plus clubs and organizations, a lot to choose from. You can join as many as you'd like. So whether they're recreational clubs, academic clubs, cultural and identity, or leadership clubs, there's just a lot to choose from. The cool thing is that you can actually create your own club as well. So all you have to do is grab a few friends and then let the Student Government Association know that you want to start a club, and then they will provide you with the funding for your club. So that's how the list has gotten so long. It's really nice to know that we have that option to really create what we want to see on campus. Also down on the first floor is where we have our Unity Wing, so Pride Center, Women's Center, and Intercultural Center. Any sort of resource you need from them, you can always feel free to just pop your head in or just be a part of anything that they put on campus. Also on the first floor is where we have our Campus Activity Board office. So Campus Activity Board is in charge of more of the large-scale events that we put on campus. If you want to sound like an Eastern student, you'd call it CAB. So they're in charge of like Fall Fest, Spring Fest, the Fall and Spring Concert. They also always do discounted trips. So small trips like to Six Flags, larger trips, maybe overnight trips to Washington, D.C. You can go see baseball game, basketball game, or they'll have trips to go see a Broadway show in New York City. Just a lot to choose from. My favorite one that I went to so far was to Trail of Terror, which is basically an outdoor haunted house that's probably about 40 minutes or so away from campus, and we only had to pay $5 each. So $5 for transportation to and from and for the activities is definitely an amazing college student price, and you don't get that anywhere. So I always suggest definitely taking advantage of these opportunities. They're always putting these events on and doing these discounted trips all throughout the semester, especially on the weekends. So you definitely want to stay for that. So we're making our way out of here, and now we're going to head over to Burnap and Crandall Hall. So these are 2 out of the 4 traditional styles that are offered for our freshmen. If you're wondering what a traditional dorm looks like, if you think of any sort of movie or TV show that you've seen with a college dorm, it's pretty similar to that. We just have that long hallway full of rooms, and then you have the common bathroom and common area that everyone on the floor would share together. It's definitely just very open community feel. You're always meeting everyone all the time. You'll meet people on your way to brush your teeth. You'll meet people on the way towards the bathrooms, towards the showers. So everyone just knows each other within like the first couple of weeks, and you become a very, very close family. I've actually heard of a story where a friend told me where everyone brought their mattresses out of their bedrooms and put them into the common area so they could have like a floor sleepover. So that was pretty cool. So this is what the common area looks like. The building is pretty similar to Constitution as for what you can bring, so everything except for that microwave, but there is a microwave provided for you in the common area on every single floor. Laundry is also on every single floor as well. Then you also have that computer, and then there is the game room, printer, and P.O. boxes within this building too. Okay, so we're going to make our way out of here and head over to Hurley Hall. So Hurley is the actual main dining hall that we have on campus. So as a first year student, the meal plan that you would have unlimited swipes right here in Hurley. So you can come in 1 time a day if you want to, or 30 times a day if you want to. And then you get $125 dining dollars to spend in those other spots that we saw earlier on tour. So library, cafe, student center, food court, the cafe and Schaefer as well. So $125 each semester to spend in those spots, and that does roll over as well. But you get unlimited swipes right here in Hurley. You can come in as much as you'd like. Hurley is a buffet style hall with a lot of different options to choose from, always changing throughout the day. I always say if you're a picky eater, this is definitely the dining hall for you, just because there's always so many different options. The chefs are also really nice, so if you ever have any sort of request or something that you'd like to see a little bit more, you could always talk to them and they'll be sure to accommodate so that we have what we need to eat here on campus. Another favorite with a lot of students, you'd probably see a lot of students walking around with this. These are our green to-go boxes. So if you're in a time crunch, you don't really have time to actually sit and hang out and eat, grab one of the to-go boxes, fill up the food that you need, and then head right back out. It's also really nice because it is actual Tupperware, so if you don't want to eat it right away and you want to save it for later on, you can store the food in your mini fridge and then heat it up in the microwave later. And then when you're ready to use it again, you just bring in that dirty one and they'll trade it in for you for a clean one. So you don't have to worry about cleaning it yourself either. Okay, so we're going to make our way out of here and head over to our last building, which is going to be Mead Hall. So Mead Hall is another residential building for first-year students. It's the other suite style, so it's going to be pretty similar to Constitution, which is the first one that we saw on tour. So again, we have those 2 double bedrooms, shower, bathroom, and vanity that you share with your suite mates, and then you also have a common area and large pantry space as well. So that's what makes Mead really different, is that they have a common area right in here. So if you're looking for a dorm that will provide you with a little bit more space, Mead may be a good choice for you. This is actually the only freshman dorm that allows you to bring in your own microwave as well, because you do have that common space that you can store it in. As for the building itself, down on the ground floor is where all the amenities are. So laundry, cardio workout room, game room, computer lab, that would all be down there. then again, the printer and the P.O. boxes are always in each of the dorms too. Okay, so we're going to make our way back up to the top. This was our last building. Thank you so much for joining us on our guided virtual tour. I hope you got the information that you needed, and have a great rest of your day.